Sometimes morbid curiosity leads to unforeseen consequences. But what happens when this curiosity crosses the boundaries of the law? On May 31st, 2014, in Waukesha, Wisconsin, two 12-year-old girls, Anissa Weir and Morgan Geyser, lured their friend Peyton Leutner into a wooded area in a nearby park. There, they proceeded to stab her 19 times because they believed it would appease a fictional character known as Slender Man. Yes, you heard me correctly, all for a fictional character. Slender Man is a fictional character that originated on a website called Something Awful back in 2009. Described as tall and skinny with a featureless white face, he is typically depicted wearing a black suit, tie, shoes, and a white shirt. Some portrayals even include tentacles emerging from his back. In stories and artwork created by fans, Slender Man is known for causing people to forget things, experience coughing fits, and feel intense fear. He is often depicted as lurking in forests, ready to terrify anyone who ventures too close. After the attack, Weir and Geyser left Leutner alone. She had to drag herself to a nearby road where a passing cyclist found her and promptly called emergency services. Surgeons then conducted a 6-hour operation to repair the damage inflicted on her organs and tissues. 5 hours later, police found Weir and Geyser near Steinhoffel's furniture store on Interstate 94, about 4.9 miles away from where the attack happened. They told the police they were going to meet Slender Man at his home, which they called Slender Mansion, in the Nicolet National Forest, about 200 miles away from where they were caught. During questioning, Geyser showed little empathy, while Weir seemed guilty about stabbing Leutner.
Stuff like, I hate you guys, I'll never forgive you, and I trusted you.
However, both insisted they attacked because they thought it would make Slender Man happy. During the police investigation and subsequent trial, Morgan Geyser disclosed a history of experiencing visual and auditory hallucinations from a young age. Among these hallucinations was a persistent figure she called It, described as a form resembling smoke and ink. Geyser often felt this presence behind her in mirrors or lurking around corners. In the autumn of 2014, Geyser was admitted to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute to assess her competency to stand trial. It was during this evaluation that she was diagnosed with early-onset childhood schizophrenia. However, her treatment for this condition was inconsistent and insufficient for almost 2 years, potentially worsening her psychotic episodes and blurring the line between reality and delusion. The introduction of medication played a crucial role, enabling Geyser to comprehend the gravity of her actions and exhibit appropriate emotions like guilt and remorse. Facing charges of attempted first-degree homicide, categorized as a Class A felony, Geyser received a sentence of 40 years to life, while Weir, charged with attempted second-degree homicide, a Class B felony, was sentenced to 25 years to life. Yet, after 7 years behind bars, Weir was granted early release and will be under supervision until she turns 37. From the horrifying delusions of the young girls, we will shift our attention towards a 13-year-old named Travis O'Brien, who had been ordered to serve time in a juvenile facility following his involvement in a shooting incident with police in Florida. Travis was only 12 years old at the time of the incident, which occurred when he and his friend Nicole Jackson, who was 2 years older, escaped from a nearby children's home. Law enforcement responded to reports of a break-in at the property and, upon arrival, encountered O'Brien and Jackson holding an AK-47, engaging in gunfire. The exchange lasted for 35 minutes, and then an officer instructed Jackson, whom he warned his colleagues had a shotgun, to immediately drop the weapon.
Don't make me do this. Don't do this.
The shootout had a disruptive effect on the local community, causing fear and concern among residents. It also led to increased scrutiny of security measures at children's homes and potential changes in law enforcement protocols for handling similar situations. Travis pleaded no contest to charges of breaking into a place, causing damage, and trying to hurt police officers. He was sent to a program to assess his level of risk, and it was understood that he could potentially be released with conditions afterward. It was also determined that he couldn't be punished beyond his 21st birthday. His lawyer, Jeff Dean, argued that Travis was just a young boy who got caught up in something serious. Before we delve into the next unsettling story, let's make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the latest updates. Meet Lionel Alexander Tate, who held the unfortunate title of being the youngest American ever sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. His story began in January 2001 when, at the tender age of 13, he was convicted of first-degree murder for the tragic death of 6-year-old Tiffany Unick in Broward County, Florida, back in 1999. On July 28, 1999, Lionel Alexander Tate was under the care of his cousin, Tiffany Unick, while Tate's mother, Kathleen Grossett Tate, was supervising. During their playtime downstairs, Grossett Tate intervened, asking them to quiet down. About 45 minutes later, Tate went upstairs to tell his mother that Tiffany had stopped breathing. Sadly, Tiffany was found with severe bruises on her legs, feet, and neck. Furthermore, in Florida, there's a law known as the felony murder rule. This means that if someone commits a serious crime and someone dies during that crime, even if harming or killing anyone wasn't the intention, the person can be charged with first-degree murder. So even though Lionel Tate didn't intend for anyone to get hurt because he was involved in an incident resulting in a child's death, he was found guilty of murder. The judge sentenced him to life in prison without needing to prove that he meant to harm anyone or even knew someone could get hurt. But that's not the end of the story. On May 23, 2005, Tate faced charges of armed burglary with battery, armed robbery, and violation of probation, according to the Broward County Sheriff's Office. Allegedly, Tate threatened Domino's pizza delivery man Walter Ernest Gallardo outside a friend's apartment shortly after placing an order over the phone. Feeling threatened, Gallardo dropped the 4 pizzas and fled. Tate then reportedly forced his way back into the apartment where he assaulted an occupant who objected to his presence. Gallardo promptly called 911 upon reaching the Domino's store and returned to positively identify Tate. Despite efforts, law enforcement did not recover the firearm allegedly used in the incident, according to a statement from the sheriff's office. On March 1st, 2006, Tate agreed to a deal where he would go to prison for 30 years. This was after admitting to breaking his probation by possessing a gun during the violent robbery. Tate didn't want to discuss where he got the gun or what he did with it. Initially, he claimed he was only guilty of theft, but later changed his plea. Ultimately, on May 18, 2006, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison for violating his probation. Then, on February 19, 2008, Tate decided not to contest the robbery charge and received an additional 10-year sentence on top of the 30-year one for breaking probation. Both sentences had to be served concurrently.